Okay, right. Well, everybody's got busy days to get going to, so we'll get started. So good morning, everyone. My name's Ant Parsons. I work with OxLEP Business, and I'm organising the Peer Networks programme with Paula.
Hi, good morning, everybody. I'm working with Ant, leading on facilitation and delivery of the one-to-one side of the programme. So we'll tell you more about that soon.
Great. And you've joined here today because you own or you're a senior leader in a business in Oxfordshire, and you're really keen on understanding more about the Peer Networks programme. You've probably heard about it or somebody's told you about it and said how good it is. So hopefully we can reassure you that that's the case. And if it's right for you by the end of this, show you how you can apply to join the OxLEP Business Peer Networks programme. So just as an example there, I say you may well have been referred to come and join us. 153 businesses from Oxfordshire were in the programme over the last 6 months. So we kicked off in October 2020 and we finished our last session on the 1st of April. So 153 Oxfordshire businesses have already engaged. What that means in numbers is 254 hours of collaborative problem solving and idea building between businesses in Oxfordshire. 186 one-to-ones. That's not as many as we wanted to deliver, but that's how many there was. And the value of this programme to each business is £2,300. So through this programme over the last 6 months, we've created 14 trusted long-term networks in Oxfordshire where the businesses are still meeting now. They're still talking, they're supporting each other. And you may see some faces in that audience there that you know. So who is Peer Networks for? Well, please don't drop off the call now if this excludes you, but there are some mandatory criteria that come with the funding for this programme. So businesses need to have operated for at least 1 year. So you need to have formed your business at least 12 months ago. You need to have at least 5 employees. Now, it's not absolutely black and white. We are allowed to have a few small number of businesses with less than 5 employees. And if you're in the creative sector, we can also count full-time associates that you work with. But you absolutely, black and white, do have to have a turnover of over £100,000 or have to have had a turnover of over £100,000 just prior to COVID-19 impacting. So if you've been hit by the epidemic, then you can still be eligible. And obviously, we're looking for businesses that have got an aspiration to improve. This is about helping businesses to grow, helping business to become more resilient. So we're looking for that aspiration as well. I'm going to hand over to you, Paula.
So I have a description for you now of the programme. And so the Peer Networks programme is delivered through a series of high impact group sessions. So we work together in cohorts, and those cohorts stay together throughout the programme. So you'd be seeing the same faces each time you meet. And the process involves using something called action learning, which you may have heard of before because it's been around for a long time. Action learning involves in each group session 1, 2, maybe 3 people bringing a challenge or an opportunity to the group to work on. The group goes through a stage of developing clarity and understanding what that challenge means for the person who's presenting it, or that opportunity means, which is also beneficial for the presenter. And then through a structured phase of offering insight, ideas, perspectives, and you ask each other questions to get to a point where the person who's brought the challenge or opportunity can choose what actions they intend to implement entirely on their terms. They then go away, implement the actions, learn from them, and bring feedback to the group at the next session. Each of the sessions are supported by a trained facilitator who will be really guiding you through the action learning process. And you gain a lot of skills through action learning that are beneficial for leadership, for working with clients, working with suppliers, relationships, and so forth. Now, the other side of the the other side of the programme is the one-to-one support programme that Ant mentioned a moment ago. Can I have the next slide, please, Ant? So the one-to-one support programme that we offer has 20 advisors from all sorts of different backgrounds. And it's really an opportunity to work with a professional one-to-one to really focus on moving forwards with something. And there are 3 main styles that are used by our advisors. There's coaching, where you'll be spending time in a thought-provoking way collaborating with the coach so that you can focus on maximizing your own potential, perhaps personally or professionally, entirely on your own terms. So it's a very interactive process. And then there's mentoring, where it's likely that your mentor will know more or will have had more experience than you in the field that you're wanting to work on. And they'll be offering you guidance, perhaps role modeling, developing contacts with you, helping you identify resources. And then advising. Our expert advisors can give you more specific, direct advice that you can take away and work on. So they're really high quality, rich opportunities to check in with someone on a one-to-one basis, identify your options, make decisions with some support to help you make progress. What's that called? Wordle. The Wordle on the right-hand side shows you some of the expertise that the 20 one-to-one advisors bring. And the next slide shows you our faces. Just for the social value, this is what we all look like. Have the next slide, please, Ant. And so the objectives of completing peer networks involve you overcoming business challenges and recognizing and acting on new opportunities, building a trusted network of connections that will support you now and in the future. As you've heard, many of our networks have gone on to work independently of the programme from the last year. You'd be improving your long-term personal and business performance and receiving support to help you tackle short-term issues that are affecting your business now, and certainly ones that are related to COVID. So we have some programme feedback, and Ant is going to play the videos for us just to give you some insights into what people have experienced.
Can you see the video?
See the screen?
So this is the Aspen Peer Network. We are just coming to the end of our 4th group session.
One of the very useful things for me is that it's like having a group of extra non-executive directors. So those with actual direct knowledge can make a comment on my business, which I found helpful.
What I found very interesting is really understanding how people have been coping with what's been going on over the last 9 months, and the creativity and resilience that people have shown it's just been amazing.
I think I found for my own personal development, it's really helped me in listening to the whole problem rather than jumping to a solution, which is usually what my management style has been. So actually having that learning a more lengthy process to really analyse a problem is helping me as a manager as well as my own decisions.
And what I would draw out from that has been echoed many times in feedback from other people is that, first of all, the expert network, the gentleman at the top right mentioned, and then secondly, the self-development area. And in this particular case, the lady was referring to her management skills. Now we have Lucy.
Hi there, my name's Lucy, and I'm the creator of Save My Knickers. Save My Knickers is a stain removing powder that removes blood stains from underwear, clothing, bedding, pyjamas, or anything that you happen to get blood on. And I'm here today to say thank you to OxLEP and the Peer Support Network programme. So I'm a children's physio in the NHS by background, and I knew nothing 2 years ago when I started on this journey about how to start a business or run a business, anything. And OxLEP have been there every step of the way to support me. And when I had the opportunity to sign up for the Peer Support Network, I jumped at the chance, and I'm really glad that I did because our group is amazing. Everybody is really supportive, and we've got a lovely diverse range of businesses, people from different backgrounds with different levels of experience. And it's been amazing to talk to everybody and share that knowledge and experience. So I would highly recommend it to anybody that's considering signing up. It will be the best thing that you'll ever do. Thanks, everyone.
And once again, Lucy's echoed a really common piece of feedback that's also comes up as a question in these sessions quite often. And it's about the diversity of people in the group. And people may ask, will I be working with people in the same sector as me or not? And what we found is that diverse groups of businesses have been really powerful. Different perspectives, different industries, and different maturity and size of business has been really powerful for sharing information. And while Ant does that, Chantal described a challenge that she brought and to one of the sessions, people bring all sorts of things. It can be ideas. We can be doing market research in the session. It can be HR issues, relationship issues. It can be sales, marketing, legal, technical, digital. It's really quite fascinating how helpful people can be, even though they might not have practical experience of what's going on for you. And also the value you get back from contributing and supporting somebody else's topic that they've brought.
Okay, so hopefully you can see a Chantal slide now.
Yes, we can.
Yeah. Brilliant.
So what would you be committing to if, or when, what will you be committing to when you sign up? The program's structured over 9 2-hour sessions of action learning, facilitated group work as we described, running fortnightly over 18 weeks. And then you have also up to 4 hours of one-to-one support that you can choose how to use. So you would pick your advisors, your mentors, your coaches, because this is all designed to give you exactly what you need. And what we're asking for is that people come with a willingness to contribute openly and honestly and be prepared for challenge. This is about us moving forwards. And then to go away and take the actions that you agree to in the sessions and share what you've learned about those actions at the following session.
Okay, back to me then. So just to highlight, you saw the faces of our coaches, one-to-one advisors. This is our core team. You can see myself and Paula on there. We've also got Leslie and Liz who help organise everything and make everything run smoothly. So between us, we want businesses to have a great experience and we do everything we can to make that happen. And then we have our facilitation team. So again, there might be the odd face here that you recognise. So Leslie Mackay in the middle there is a marketing and comms expert. Ian Tracy works on finance and supports businesses through their future growth. Mickey Lentin works with businesses on comms and culture. And Anka Lerman, Anka works on complicated things like photonics and high-tech stuff that I know nothing about. But yeah, a great facilitation team. Each one is very experienced in facilitation and has been facilitating these action learning sessions. So has got a good 20, 30 sessions under their belt following this process and helping businesses on this journey. And then a final word. So Steve G, we didn't get time to video him, but he's been a passionate champion for the program and has been, chatting on LinkedIn, telling his friends how good this program is. He's from GeForce Logistics. And Paula, you asked him, what would you say to people who are considering joining the program? And he said, just do it. Don't give it a second thought. And that message has been echoed by other businesses. So this is the end of the presentation. The link there is to the application form, which is online. It takes less than 10 minutes to complete. So if it is of interest to you and we haven't turned you off, then please head off there. But equally, happy to answer some questions. And I'll stop sharing there and answer any questions we may have.
Can I ask a question?
Please, Mike.
So do you take the applications and then is it like a random group that you put together, or is it a group that you think will complement each other?
It's a bit of both. So one thing we do through the application form is we ask people, what sort of day and time of the week is going to work best for you. So people give us that information, because there's no point me finding the perfect group for you on a Tuesday evening between 5 and 7 if that clashes with your walking football and you're never going to commit to it. So
ballet. I'm not ballet then.
Yeah, ballet. Yeah. So first off, we make sure that it works for you in that way. And then we look at the applications and we say, right, well, does this look like a mixed group? We're not necessarily looking for massive connection, because that's quite hard to see from a piece of paper, but we're looking for any conflicts. So we wouldn't put 2 marketing agencies in the same cohort, for instance, because, you're going to be talking about challenges either with your business plans, with your staff, with your clients, with your suppliers. You don't want to be sharing that with someone who you're both pitching for the same contracts or trying to impress the same client. Yeah. And I would say we had one person who asked to move after the first session. So we started 16 groups last year. One person asked to move after the first session because we hadn't quite spotted something where there was a conflict. But other than that, every group got going. And that one person moved to a different group.
All right, well, it all sounds very interesting. I guess it's just about devil's in the detail, isn't it? I can see that there's a lot of ideas around it. It's just, is there more information online? It's been a comprehensive presentation, but it's just more about how it works. I get that there's the coaching part and the collaboration. I guess it's as simple as that.
There is a little bit more information online. This is a national programme, so it's funded by the Department for Business, Energy and Industrial Strategy. Mm-hmm. They've got a national website, which is peernetworks.co.uk. Mm-hmm. The only thing I would say is that on there, it tells you to go to that to register an interest. If you register an interest through that, they then email us and then we come back to you. So it's just so I wouldn't register an interest on that bit. No. They're putting some national marketing up, and then each local enterprise partnership is delivering this around the country. So when we say we supported 153 businesses last year, there were over 4,000 businesses in England on this programme at the same time. And every local enterprise partnership is out now promoting it again to encourage more businesses.
How long has it been running for?
It started in September, October last year.
Oh, so it's the first year?
Yeah. But as Paula said, the processes, the action learning are tried and tested. And BAYS have been very prescriptive and said that they want it to use action learning principles. They want the coaching. You know, they've done the research and pulled together a program that they believe is going to deliver impact. And I can say from the different local enterprise partnerships that have delivered it, every one of them thinks this is a great program. They're all really keen to deliver more of it.
Had 150 something businesses graduate, if you like, from the first program, because that was the last financial year and this is the launch of the new financial year program. One thing that didn't come across in the presentation is the value that people have expressed about having structured, scheduled time to step away from the business and look at it and work on things from that different perspective, rather than being in operations, in the detail, reacting and so forth. So having that time out at a fortnightly interval over a fairly short period of time has proven really beneficial.
Yeah, I mean, and if any of you is worrying about the time commitment, 18 weeks is quite a long time. At the moment, that would take us straight through the middle of summer. So we would pause our programs and not continue them during August. So there'd be a 4-week gap. Some local enterprise partnerships run them at 4 weekly intervals. We've checked with the businesses we've worked with and they all said they think the 2 weeks was just about right. Not too often, but not too long, because if you miss one session, you know, you could be going 4 weeks without seeing your peers and you lose track of what's going on. I would say some groups have built such a fantastic rapport that by the time we got to the 4th session, you know, the check-in at the start, they were all talking about the virtual coffees they'd been having and how they'd been referring each other to other connections that they believed would help each other. It's just those businesses that have embraced it have really got a lot out of it.
Any other questions or insights?
Yeah, just a very quick question. Obviously, it would have had to have been run remotely, so via Zoom over this period. Normally, or looking forward, will it always be run in that way, or would there be real meetings?
There's no definitive answer on that. Some, you know, people say, oh, I much prefer that it's on Zoom because I know I'm never going to meet these people. I can be really open and honest, or I'm not going to meet them in a professional capacity. Several groups are arranging to meet up face-to-face after the programme.
Yeah.
I imagine that we will do some face-to-face.
Yeah.
But I think it'd be very very much based on that particular group, where we are with COVID and that particular facilitator.
Sure.
So some of us are closer to Oxford than others.
Yeah. Okay.
What do you think?
That's fine. Sounds interesting.
Yeah, and it's there are no, there's no no one's saying we have to deliver anything face to face, but you know, we'd probably like to think that by the time we get to October, November, we might at least be able to have a group event where we all come together. Yeah. You know, we did that image that I showed at the start with all the photos. We did a big group event in March where all of the cohorts came together, and that was great. But you know, something like that we should be able to do face to face.
Thank you.
Maureen, Peter, any questions?
I was just going to say that we've got some quite challenging growth plans over the coming years. And so one of the things that we're looking to do is get some grant funding wherever possible. Would that be something that would come out through this programme, or would that be a separate channel that we would look down? Okay, so we got the banner here anyway, OxLEP Business. So Paula and I are involved in delivering the Peer Networks programme, and that's what we're trying to champion today. But OxLEP Business has its Growth Hub as well, which this is part of. Now, within the Growth Hub, there are grant programmes, and there's going to be a launch event for that on the 27th of May. There's no easy free cash out there at the moment. We know how complicated things are, but there are still European funded programmes. There's still UK government funded programmes, and there are new programmes coming on all the time. So when people ask me, you know, can we access grants? I say, well, the best place to be to access the grants when they come is connected with OxLEP. Because if you're already there, you're already working with us, that's when you'll know at the first instance that these grants are coming along. You can be as ready as possible, and you can have conversations with people about what's going to be eligible and what's not. Okay.
You know, so, you know, some of those people on some of those videos have applied for and benefited from grants over the last 6 months because they were connected with OxLEP, but they knew, you know, we were having the conversations, they were in the right place at the right time.
Okay, thanks.
And I love that the little ones joined us, Peter.
Sorry, she's cutting her head off, so I didn't think I'd be able to speak if I left her over there in the chair.
And that's a great illustration that, you know, because we're using Zoom, because people are at home, we're able to be really flexible. And you know, I have run sessions where we've had babies involved. I've run sessions where the dogs have been looking at me the whole time, etc. You know, we make it work. The technology allows us to fit around things. Have you got a question, Peter?
No, I haven't really. I mean, I was going to ask if the funding covers childcare, but I guess not. No questions, thank you. My only question was going to be, when does it start?
Yeah. Okay. So we're planning on starting around 5 groups somewhere around a month from now. So we're starting the recruitment. If we can recruit enough, we'll start 5. If we recruit more, we'll start 6. But we want to get 5 or 6 groups started and working through June and into July, and then they will finish off in September. And then we're going to start another 5 groups, September, October, and then another 5. So overall, we're planning on running 15 groups, supporting 165 businesses this year. And Lisa, to answer your question, is it 1 MD per business? And can more than one person join? Unfortunately, one of the restrictions in the funding is that it's one person per business this year. Last year, we were able to support more than one person from the same business, but they've changed those rules. It also means that if your business was involved in the first round of this program, then you can't benefit again. So, you know, we have had some people saying, oh, my colleague would be brilliant on this, but unfortunately the funding won't allow that. But that brings me right back to Maureen and the point about OxLEP Business. There are other programs. So if what you've heard today sounds interesting, but not quite right, then stay in touch. There are other programs coming along, other bits of business support. And that's what OxLEP Business is for. It's here to support businesses in Oxfordshire to deal with challenges and to grow.
We good?
Okay. So we're not going to ask for a show of hands about who's going to apply or anything. I mean, there's no pressure. From Paula and my viewpoint, I think if you're not sure, get in touch. Let's have another conversation. But if you think it's probably not for you, but I might have a go, I'd say don't, because the last thing we want is to waste your time. You know, we want people to hook onto this and think this looks great. Let's go for it.
I'd ask a favour if you have the chance to promote it as well. That would be superb.
Can I ask one last question? Sorry. I'm at the moment, I'm working with 2 business coaches. I'm in a business referral group, and it all sort of seems to be an amalgamation. Is there going to be some sort of conflict of interest? Not conflict of interest, wrong word, but do you know what I mean? Me doing too much, you know, overdoing it. but do you know what I mean?
It depends how much you can handle, Mike. You know, in terms of insight and motivation and pushing you in a direction. I would say from our viewpoint, we would encourage businesses to be seeking support wherever they can get it. One thing with OxLEP businesses support is it's all fully funded. We don't ask for contributions. We just ask for you to commit your time and to do what you can with that support. As we've been running one-to-ones, we've had cross referrals. Some people have been saying, oh, I've had a one-to-one with Paula, it's been fantastic. And then, so somebody else will book with it. But equally, I've had some people say, no, there's this coach who helps me, and we go on a walking thing and we do this and we do that. And, you know, we've got no problem with people referring in and out of the programs. So I like to think that there's a business support community in Oxfordshire, and it's a community. It's not an ecosystem. In an ecosystem, you have somebody trying to eat something else. I think we should have a community where we all support each other and cross-refer. We know what each other's doing, and we try not to duplicate, and we make sure that we make the best of the resources that's available.
No, I agree, and I like the altruism feeling of it, where you can. It's part of it is helping other people that I like about it as well. And that's, you know, I'm not saying, but you know what I mean. It's a nice feeling to be able to. Yeah. You get what you give, if you know what I mean. That's what I think. Yeah,
and there's organisations like B4 in Oxfordshire. You've got Bista Vision. You know, they both run networking groups. We attend their meetings, and they cross-refer into us when they think it's going to work for the businesses that they work with.
Yeah.
My answer would have been slightly different in that I think that the Peer Networks programme is a place where perhaps you could focus some of the time on consolidating those different areas of work that you're doing and going deeper. So you could actually bring work that you've committed to or you started to define. So it could actually enhance the service and experience you're getting.
Yeah, I suppose I've gone through the overwhelm bit, and now I'm sort of like consolidating it down, but I don't want to do that again. But it seems that this wouldn't necessarily confuse the issue any further. You know, I'm already down the track on a lot of things. It's just, I think that there could be benefit to I like the action learning respect of it. One last question is, can we go back and see what the slide is? I can't find the registration on the website.
Oh,
I'm searching Peer Network on OxLEP, but it's saying it's closed. Peer Networks program's now closed.
Okay, well, I will have a good search for that and find out why you're getting that sort of message, but I will put in the chat a link to the page.
Just while you're looking for that, to go back to the lady who was asking about grants, how I came to OxLEP was through somebody who was on the previous cohort, and she told me about the BIF investment fund, so which we have applied for, but it would have been lovely to have the support to sort of know how to fill in that application correctly. So so I'm in.
Yeah, and that's the Business Innovation Fund, which I think the windows have just closed on, but that's probably the biggest grant scheme that's been available in Oxfordshire for some time, with grants of up to £100,000.
Yeah, if we get it, it'd be really helpful for us, especially after COVID. So so that came directly through this peer-to-peer scheme, that sort of connection.
Yeah, and you might have recognised the odd face in some of the videos. So the lady speaking on the group video was Alison, and she is MD for Guides for Brides. So she's been...
Yeah, it was Alison who told me.
Yeah, so she's been championing the wedding industry. And one of the things that she discussed was how she hadn't been able to do her annual award ceremony last year, and she wasn't sure she was going to be able to do it this year. Now, anyone who knows Alison will, if you go on her LinkedIn, you'll see that she actually did a virtual award ceremony at Blenheim Palace, not really, but working with that event company who were also on that group, who, you know, could create virtual backdrops and other things. So two of the businesses there found a challenge that they wanted to work on together, and they've had a big award ceremony where Alison was dressed up like she was at the BAFTAs, etc. Looks fantastic. You know, a great example of businesses working together.
Yeah, no, it's Alison who told me about it, and we lent some DJs for the staff as well. So
brilliant.
Yeah, it's nice to work together, especially in these times.
Great. Well, I really do hope we've sold the program to you, and that, as I say, if you need any more information, I will also put my email address. I'll put my short one in there in the chat. Please do get in touch. And yeah, we'd love to see you on the program in the future.
Thanks everyone for your time.
Thanks a lot, guys. Have a good day.
Thanks everyone. Bye.
Thank you.
Thanks very much.
Bye.
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 Bye.